the importance of robust inventory management to retail. Being able to get the correct products to your customers is fundamental to success today. Ensuring you don't fail at order fulfillment begins with understanding your inventory and supply chain. In fact, there is also a PwC report titled, "You Can't Be Omni Until Inventory is Solved." So let's try and discuss just that and more today on our virtual roundtable, Stocking the Store, a retailer's guide to omni-channel and inventory management, powered by Altavant and Analytical Ways. And on the panel today, we have Heba Alpazari, founder of Kaveti, Neelam Keswani, founder of Glamazzle, Amit Yadav, omni-channel marketing lead of Kashka, Stefan Pignard, GM of Altavant, and Amancio Jr., CEO and founder at Analytical Ways. But before we get into the session full-fledged, this is something that I ask everybody, right? Most retailers that I meet, which is about their definition of omnichannel, what omnichannel means to them. And strangely and very interestingly, with every vertical, with every scale of business, and with every platform they operate in, the definitions are quite varied. I think we have a great mix here now. So let's just start off with that. So if under a minute, you can tell us about what your definition of omnichannel is and what it means to you, that would be great. So let's go. Same question for you, Amit. But then one thing Neelam mentioned was omnichannel and multi-channel was very similar in her approach. Is that something that you look into as well? For you, can omni-channel and multi-channel be used interchangeably, or for you, is it a different definition altogether?
Yeah. First of all, thank you so much, Images Retail Me, to give me this opportunity. I'm really humble and honored to be with all of you today. And we are talking about a very, very important topic today, which is omni-channel and inventory, which is the backbone of any retail and business, I would say. So omni-channel or multi-channel is, if in terms of definition, it's very, very simple. It's basically giving a coherent, seamless experience to the customers across multiple channels on which a brand is present, be it a social media, store, marketplace, e-commerce, web, or any other platform. But the real challenge where it lies is delivering the same kind of a value proposition across all the channels. Are we delivering the same value proposition to the customer across all the platform wherever we are present? Are we having the same kind of delivery mechanism? Is the customer is having the same experience? And especially it's very pertinent in terms of luxury, which we'll be talking subsequently, the experience of shopping luxury products online or through across multiple channels. So for us also, it's more or less same. I would say we are at the beginning of a paradigm shift. The time is changing. In last 1.5 years, we have seen a huge amount of change which is happening in terms of businesses, how retailers and the businesses are reaching out to the customers, and how the customers are doing the transactions across multiple platforms. So it's just a beginning. I think the time is quite exciting, and we'll be having a lot of interesting things to see. At the same time, for the customer, the omni-channel or multi-channel, whatever we can say, omni-channel is anyways a much bigger game rather than a multi-channel, which is limited to some set of channels which a brand want to prefer and do the transaction. But I would say, multi-channel or omni-channel, while the definition is very, very simple, making someone understand is very simple. Putting it into execution is the real challenge, and which I think some of the top brands also globally are also suffering. They are still also learning as they are on the go. And for a brand like us also, we are in a very high learning curve as of now when it talk about multi-channel. So I think it will take some more time for us to find out the right and the optimum mix, how we can optimize the inventory, the experience, the value proposition across different platforms.
Sure, and that is exactly what we're touching upon today, right? So let's talk about reducing cost, right? Like Amit, bringing you into the conversation now. So during a cash crunch, what technologies and resources would you prioritize? Because Amancio mentioned that digitization is the name of the game. Technologies need to be used. Stefan mentioned it's about also being cost efficient around your operations. I'm interested to know how Kashka went about that.
Great question, Shruti, and it's very, very pertinent in today's time when the business is actually becoming challenging every day. Competitors are coming, and the business is not like 20 years back where the brand's working, but actually the complete shift has happened now. The customers are the one, or the consumers are the one who dictates everything, and the brand has to deliver it. So the whole game plan has changed, especially with the pandemic. The rate of digitization and everything has become manifold, and everyone is talking about it. So how we have done it, like almost more than a year back, we have completely embarked on it digital transformation journey, not only among the tools, software, data analytics, predictive analytics, and that kind of thing, but in other logistic approaches also. So one of the things which we have started as RAS, robots as a service. Everyone is not Amazon, where which can have hundreds and thousands of robots working in their warehouse. So we have started on this particular thing. We have started hiring robots in our warehouse. So the fulfillment can happen faster across different. Then we started using some of the leading softwares for predictive analytics, for basically understanding the customer demand, from which part of the country where we are getting the more traffic, or from which country region we are getting the more traffic, so we can plan our future stores over there. We can work on the supply chain, and I'll give you a few examples here. We started running digital campaigns in Central Asian countries, but there are not many logistic companies who operate in Central Asian countries, and we see a huge amount of traffic coming on our website and the number of orders coming on it. So then we overcome this solution by tying up with some of the best logistic companies across the globe, and now we have a huge amount of orders going into the Central Asian countries. So that's just one of the example. Now, another thing which we have done is there are so many open platform softwares which are just plug and play. We started working with Tweak. We currently on Shopify, so it's on the Shopify app. So this particular Tweak, how it happened is work on the hyper personalization technology, which earlier the Amazon and the other the big players were working. Now the technology has become much more economical for the medium brands to use it. So with the help of the Tweak, what we have find it out is that we have increased our per customer transaction value by 252%. So that's a huge amount of revenue which we are talking about when it comes on the e-commerce platform. In terms of stores, how we have made use of the technology in last almost a year or so is lookalike, one of the very good example of artificial technology. So how lookalike technology basically work is, you have your customer details, you have their email IDs, you have their mobile number, you have where they stay, what kind of product they have bought it, you have complete historical data of your customers. So you put into the lookalike engine, and then lookalike define, okay, these are the set of customers. Through traditional segmentation, we are reaching, let's say, x amount of customers, but through lookalike you can find out that you can reach out to maybe into 50x of customers. And in last 1 year, with the help of the lookalike technology, we have actually, during the pandemic, we have grown by around 23% like for like store sale. I'm talking about that too. Like, we have some of the stores which are in Dubai Mall, Yas Mall of Qatar, which are heavy tourist driven businesses. But despite the fact that the tourists were not coming, there were complete lockdown, we have grown around 23% like for like, although the overall sale is much more higher. So with the help of the technology, we have grown very handsomely in last 1.5 year, despite the pandemic, despite the challenges, despite so many resource crunches, because almost 1 year or so the malls were closed down. So there was a huge loss of revenue which was happening to retail like us. And we as an organization have, although we have a very strong presence in GCC, but we have stores spread as far as your Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, or Paris. So our operation was completely halted for 5-7 weeks. But with the help of the technology, the route which we have adopted more than a year back, we have completely overcome all those challenges, and we have on the basically road of growth as of now. So these are some of the things which any brand can do it, and these technology, artificial technology, and these kinds of things are not very expensive. It normally take 1 to 2% of your top line to have these kinds of technology once you embrace it, and can give you a return which is much more higher. So yeah,
Right.
this is
But
from
we've
my
also
side.
noticed that, right, in the recent past. I mean, there's so much buzz around all of these fancy technologies with AI, XR, VR, ML, all of that. And now we've seen a lot of retailers using technology for the sake of using technology because everybody's doing it, we must do it, and not really understanding how it really caters to their audience, their customers, etc. And that's why it's probably worth discussing how refining all of this technology is also important, and figuring out and prioritizing what technology is useful for your kind of business and your kind of audience. But before we get into that, I think we should address the elephant in the room, which is soon coming holiday seasons, right? With Singles Day, White Friday, Black Friday, Yellow Friday, we have Diwali, Christmas, New Year, all of those things happening just in the next 2 months, this month and next month, essentially. And I don't think it is possible for any retailer to never go out of stock in this situation. But it is also about managing and pre-planning for all of these holiday season surges that we're going to see, right? But Amit, just coming to you now, just ending pretty much with you of what we've all discussed so far. Stefan just mentioned about using AI and using this whole centralized approach, so that you can get rid of the complications that come with the 70% sales and the discount offers, the big baskets, when it's not really sustainable, when it's not really cost efficient for the business itself. What is the approach that you've been taking, and how have you been integrating the emerging technologies you have in order to avoid situations like this?
Yeah. So this particular question is very, very pertinent in today's world. All the brands are adopting to some kind of a technology, and the biggest challenge with the different technologies, they don't talk to each other. The data remains in silos. So before we embark on any kind of a technological change, we should see two, three things which are very, very important: is whether how the customer experience is going to be better with this, whether we require it or not, first of all. Second is, are we going to increase or improve our gross margin, return on investment, or not? If the technology is too expensive and you are not able to extract the ROI out of it, I don't think it's required. And the third is, within your scheme of things, within your ecosystem, whether that particular technology fit or not, whether it will be basically the marriage between the third party technology and your current ecosystem will happen or not. So these are the three important parameters we look into it before we sign off for any kind of a technology, or we basically decide on having that kind of a technology. Although we are making use of many of the artificial and latest technology to provide a better customer service experience, reach out to more set of customers, which lead to a better return on investment and incremental transactions and revenue. This is my take on the whole the whole thing.
Great. That's perfect to summarize this session. Just a quick reminder again to all the attendees, if you do have questions, post it here, or you can post it across our digital channels where we have the posters. You can see it on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, etc. Or you can send a write to us as well, and we will make sure that these questions are answered. Stefan, you have a concluding slide for us, don't you? I think it's time to bring that up on screen so you can share your insights, and that'll be a great way to round up this session.
Uh,
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So before we conclude, I have just one thing to add. Especially, it makes I think more relevant for Hiba and her business, because she is into more premium business. As I'm basically educationist, also I teaches in artificial intelligence and digital transformation in universities all over the globe. And so one of the case study which I always put across the students is Harley Davidson. So what Harley Davidson has found it out in 2017, that only 2% of the New York population is their target segment. But with the help of the artificial and lookalike technology, they find that the audience, the potential set of customers is much more bigger. And when they started using this particular artificial intelligence tool, the name of the tool is Albert.ai. So it have a name, it have a persona, it have a all kind of things attached to the tool. And with that particular tool, they have identified that by using that, The number of qualified sales lead has increased by 150%. Some of the dealers of the Harley Davidson has, put up a, dedicated call center to manage the calls coming in. And the revenue of the Harley Davidson in 2017 from New York City has gone up by 40%. So that kind of a revenue shift we can get by using the right kind of a technology, I believe, which we have seen it in my current organization. Also, the revenue has grown by around 23%, and the Harley Davidson has seen it. So the brands all over the globe, be it medium, be it the niche brand, be it expensive brand, all the leading corporates around the world are making use of the technology. The key point here to decide is what is your requirement and which kind of technology suits to fulfill that particular gap.
Absolutely. Great. Thanks for that. Thanks for that very interesting example of Harley Davidson as well, Amit. Really appreciate it. Until then, that's all of us signing off from the Retail ME team. See you all.
Thank you so much, Vicky, for
Thank you so
having
much.
us. Thank you so much.